Welcome to today's edition of the Bulldog Bark. We are Crown Point Football's only podcast, and we're here with head football coach Craig Bazia. Coach, how you doing today?
Ski, good to be with you again. Always a pleasure. Looking forward to talking about last week's game and talk about what we got coming up this week.
Well, let's jump right into last week's game. A big 38-12 win over the Lake Central Indians. They were without their star running back, who's going to Iowa, but still a very formidable team that put up a pretty good fight.
Well, it certainly did. That wasn't any surprise to us. Coach Good's doing a great job over there, and each and every year they're getting better and better. And they're a quality opponent. And as we look back on it, we probably didn't play our best football, but the fact remains that we had to play a full game, and we haven't had to do that up to that point. So I thought, that was good for us, and I think it'll help us down the road.
Now, Coach, I know we had talked about this after the game, and you said it would be addressed this week. The enormous amount of penalties, it seemed, a lot of yards on the penalties this week. What happened there?
Well, I think a lot of it was just them playing a little bit harder than us, and us not ready for the speed of the game, and a lot of holdings and things along that nature, and it just can't happen. And then obviously we had some things that happened after the play that is just unacceptable and has been addressed, and hopefully we won't see that again. But again, I think things that are very important to us are turnovers and penalties, and we take a lot of pride in taking care of those things, and we certainly let that get away from us on Friday, and actually took back a touchdown and took back a couple other big runs for us as well.
Coach, your regular season has been good to you the last 2 years. This last victory on Friday night, your 13th straight regular season victory, your 9th straight DAC victory. What's going on with this regular season?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why they put the score up on the clock, right? And we just feel very fortunate to be able to make a run like this, and it's been fun, and it's been challenging to say the least, and obviously we want to keep it going. Doesn't happen very often when you could go through a season and a half without any losses, and obviously this gets tougher and tougher this week, and we just want to keep on doing what we're doing, and there's no reason to change anything now that we got a little bit of a streak going here.
Well, we always give away some awards after each game. Player of the game, Will Clark.
Yeah, Will Clark is still, as good as he is. He continues to get better and better, and he made some significant hits against in the running game last week, and did a nice job of leading our defense and earned the right to be our defensive player of the week.
Yeah, and we'll hear his name a little bit later on in the show too for something else. But let's move on to the offensive player of the week. That's your quarterback, Noah Ehrlich.
Yeah, Noah does a fantastic job, and he's had an outstanding season thus far. But I think probably Friday was his best effort. Threw for about 235 yards, threw for 2 touchdowns, and ran for another 55 yards and 2 touchdowns. And a few of those throws that he made where he was on they were broken plays, and it was on the run. He found guys down the field, and to come up with to count for 4 touchdowns and almost 400 yards, in a dueling conference game doesn't happen very often. So he's certainly deserves the award.
On the special teams side of the ball, Ben Clark picks up the award this week.
Yeah, freshman that we have up on varsity and did a great job of on special teams, including 2 tackles on kickoff. So always good to get those young guys out there, and Ben was really one that really stood out on Friday.
Boy, not too often you see a freshman playing on the varsity level. He must be something special.
Yeah, we got 5 freshmen up, and they all see significant time, and we believe that our best players play, and the quicker you get them up here, sort of expedites the process, and Ben has done a great job, and we're looking forward to having him not only on special teams, but playing a little bit more on defense as the year progresses.
All right, let's move on to the scout team now. The scout team player of the week, Alex Williams on defense.
Yeah, Lake Central had some really, really quick defensive ends that, actually we had a lot of problems blocking during the game. But, any success that we did have, we owe it to Alex, because Alex did a great job of representing what they would give us on defense, and he was tough to block during the week, and anytime that our offense is putting up close to 40 points a game, you're getting some help from your prep scout defensive players, and Alex did a great job for us.
All right, and then on the offensive end, we're going with the player of the week, Kyle Brainerd.
Yeah, Kyle is one of those guys that have just hung in there and is a junior quarterback for us, and he typically runs the scout team for our defense, and he did a great job of showing our defense what the Lake Central quarterback can do. And Kyle's just a product of our program. We're very proud of him, even though he hasn't saw much time on the varsity level, he gives us everything he's got on the prep squad, and he has just had an outstanding JV season as well. He's leading our JV team to an undefeated season so far, and he's been nothing short of excellent on the JV level.
Now, Coach, let's get to the Bone Crusher hit of the week, and I tell you what, this week's winner, Will Clark, you could have taken a couple different hits from him. He had a couple of really good ones this week.
He did, and I think that's why the coaches voted him as the Bone Crusher. He had not only one, but two really outstanding hits that stood out, and again, very significant in where it came in the game, and he could probably be a nominee every game, but this week especially, he had really two good hits, and that's why we named him Bone Crusher of the Week.
Well, congratulations again to all the recipients of this week's awards. Well deserved, and we'll come back with more next week as well. Let's talk about next week, Coach, or this week, actually. You go into Portage to face the Indians. I know that's a significant game for you and for a couple of your coaches, Coach Albert and Coach Ortiz. It's kind of a homecoming for you.
Yeah, it is. And I've been over there a couple of times since I've left Portage, but anytime you go back and, you spend 24 years there, it's it gets a little emotional at times because you had such great memories there. But we got a job to do in last year. Obviously, the last time we went there, even though it ended up being positive, the first half wasn't, and it was in the sectional game last year where we were down at the halftime, and I think we ended up winning, convincingly. But they got a new coach that's coming in from Michigan City, and he's got them playing very, very well, and they're aggressive, and they play with a great deal of passion, and obviously myself and Coach Ortiz, who played there, and Coach Evans, who played there under me as well. So it's a homecoming of sorts, but we know that we got some business to take care of.
Now, Coach, how do you prepare the team this week? Obviously, you're undefeated. Portage does not have as good of a record right now. They're improving, but not a great record. How do you keep the team motivated and make sure that the team doesn't have a letdown?
Well, I mean, it's one of those things where you only get so many times to go out and play, and this is one of them. And as I told our team at the start of the week, it's my feeling that if Portage was able to start the season all over again, they would be 4-0 as well. And they played two close games the last 2 weeks, lost by a touchdown against Maryville and lost by a point against Lake Central. Those are two teams that we just got done playing, and they just continue to get better and better. And I think we could just flip on the film and our kids could watch that, hey, this is a pretty good, nice, talented team. And like with a new coaching staff, they're looking to get their first victory. And if we don't do don't show up and do the things that we need to do, or if we play like we did last week, we may not come out on the positive end. So I think that's enough motivation in itself.
Well, you're on the road again this week, 2 weeks in a row before you'll be back at home next week. Any different preparations when you know it's an away game?
Not really. We don't really do anything. We really, if you would go from week to week and saw our practices, we're pretty, we base everything on the same deal every week. I mean, our practices are the same. We do the exact same thing every practice at each time, and we just try to keep the process the same and moving on. And that way we get in a good routine. We don't practice any longer for some teams and any shorter for other teams. It's just, we get our business in, we get our work done, we watch film, and we get out of here. And we try to take a business-like approach every week, and whether it's home or away, and we know when we're on the road, we got to play better. I mean, you just do. I mean, you go in already with your back to the wall anytime you play a dual conference rival on the road, and so we need to know that our execution has to be a lot better. We got to take care of the ball, and obviously we got to clean up some penalties.
All right. Well, Coach, we wish you the best of luck this week. Game happens this Friday night, 7 o'clock at Portage High School. Looking for win number 5.
Yeah, we're looking for our fan base to keep on traveling and meeting us at the Warpath, and they do make a difference. We had a great crowd last week at Lake Central, and hopefully they come over and support us, at Portage, because we know it's a quality opponent, and anytime you take the field against a dueling opponent, you got to be ready. So looking forward to it. I appreciate you having me, and looking forward to talking to you next week.
All right, thanks, Coach. That's going to do it for this episode of the Bulldog Bark. We'll see you Friday night for the Bulldogs versus Portage, and then we'll see you again back here next week for the next Bulldog Bark.